location to location, but actually moving from one point of life to another point of life. Treated like a religion. And we tried to put together music on the CD, kind of embody that process. Since my father played trumpet, it would have been a logical choice for me to play trumpet. But in class, there's this kid named Andy who had already gotten a saxophone. Most of us were all sitting around in the band room with nothing yet. He had a saxophone, and we opened that case up, and I saw that beautiful, beautiful lacquer horn, all of that brass, and those keys just shining. I just knew I had to play that instrument. Didn't have anything to do with how it sounded. It dealt with how it looked. And that's exactly how I got started. Back to my father. Now, again, his friends used to come over on Sundays. And, you know, they'd sit around and reminisce about all these stories. And every once in a while, he would pull out his trumpet and play a little bit. Now, we had one of those big old stereo players, console players, big wood cabinet with speakers on the side and red velvet covering those speakers, and you open up the top and you had the turntable inside with the 8-track where you can stick that in there too, and you know, just a beautiful piece. Wish we still had that thing. I mean, it's got to be worth a lot now, but he would put on a Ray Charles record and greatest hits. Great horn section in all of Ray Charles' songs. You know, horn strings. There was always very full arrangements in Ray Charles' music. And we would sit there, and he would play that, and he'd tell me to come out. Now, I'm in the 5th or 6th grade at the time. I could barely play Mary Had a Little Lamb, or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, whatever. He's having me come out and try to play with him on these Ray Charles records. And first few times he did that, I was just so embarrassed that I couldn't hang. I just couldn't hang. So I would take the records back in my room on the weekends, on the weekdays, and I would just practice and practice over all those horn lines over and over again until I learned every lick. And then the next weekend I'd come out, I'd be a little bit better. And this just went on, using Ray Charles, Herb Alpert, old Brecker Brothers band stuff, which is extremely challenging stuff. And I didn't realize how challenging it was until I became a more mature player. The naming of In Transit, the way I usually do is we go through several songs in the studio first. We get them produced, get them named, and it's only about halfway through the CD that we kind of figure out what it's shaping up to be. The music kind of dictates the mood, and you know, at that end, that's when we kind of figure out what is it making us feel like, you know, what is going on here. And my producer said it, you know, he could see a transition between the My Life CD and where this one was going in. And so naturally, you know, In Transit kind of became a good possible title. Everybody's asked me, you know, how are you going to break into the market? What are you going to do to get into jazz over there? And I think what I'm going to try to do is that initially, I'm just going to go try to visit every freaking jazz spot and festival I can find just to see what the scene is like. You know, I just don't want to jump into a place and not know exactly what's going on. Now, I know that Europe has a much bigger appreciation of jazz traditionally than some other countries or some other continents. So I'm hoping to cash in on that. But visiting the clubs, getting to know musicians, start to carry my horn with me, see if I can go sit in, play with some people, making contacts there. And then in the end, you know, basically grabbing my horn and a set of speakers and sitting out in the middle of a square somewhere and just playing. Open up the case and see if I can get a few euros dropped into the case. But that's just the way it's going to be, you know, to get started, get set up there, and hopefully within a few months or a year, you know, I'll find a home. And I'll be playing jazz there long term. That's the goal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is In Transit. It's been 20 months in production, 4 years after my life. I know you will enjoy the CD, so look for it online. It can be reached at iTunes already, CD Baby. You can go to my website, www.erlythornton.com, and definitely hope you enjoy the project. Check it out.